We're here.
And we are live.
Hello, everyone in the group. The whole Europe, the whole world, maybe, possibly, hopefully. I am lucky enough to have Dr. Anthony Mattis here tonight with me. Well, tonight, today in the afternoon, that depends where in the world you are at this moment. And I'm also lucky enough to ask him a couple questions about some stuff that he does, and it's very special, and it's his own personal magical class, if I can say it that way. And well, I mean, do you want to kind of have like first words about something, Anthony, or should I just fire?
No, keep going. Keep going. Yeah, you're great.
I'm doing good. I can keep going. Whew, sweating. But yeah, we're having very soon in Prague a class with Anthony that it's his own like I would say personal class, and it's called Opening of a Symphony, and it's happening in Prague very soon. I think it's starting 16th, 17th, and 18th of September. So it's not even a month away from now, but we're here to kind of like introduce the opening and the magic of the opening in a maybe slightly different way, or I don't know, maybe you already heard it, guys, before. But I wanted to ask Anthony, what is it opening this class, and what kind of a magic of Symphony of Possibilities it's opening? Because I've been lucky enough that I had a couple classes with, well, already a few with Dr. Dane here, the SOP classes, Symphony of Possibilities, and I was also lucky enough to have already a couple of the opening classes with Anthony, and I would not be able to compare them. I think they're having like their own personal magic, and it's something that's an SOP energy, but also very different, a different invitation. And it has like so much in it, both of these classes, and one contributes to the other one. And yeah, so what is the magic of the opening, Anthony, for you?
Yeah, thank you. Well, so as you were saying before, so what we're talking about for those people who've never even heard of any of this stuff, this is let's just say, a department of access consciousness that provides these amazing, 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 wonderful tools that were created by Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, and Dr. Dane here, the co-creator of Access Consciousness. And so our very near and dear friend, Dr. Dane, created this beautiful, magical work called ESB, Energetic Synthesis of Being. And it was something that he developed over 20 years ago. And through sort of like I guess the guidance and the mentorship, if you will, of Gary Douglas. And as a result, they've been able to create this wonderful body of work called Access Consciousness as we know it today, that's in over like 176 different countries. And so I've been doing Access for 11 years now. I was a professional chiropractor for many, many, many years, and stumbled upon this body of work, at the time where my wife had committed suicide and I was raising 3 kids alone, as you know. But it wasn't until about 3 years? 3 years into me doing Access is where I met Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, and he had discovered that I had similar capacities as Dane, who was also a chiropractor. But it wasn't our chiropractic capacities, it was something else. And it's like, to put this stuff into words is very, very difficult, but if you can just, it's sort of like a space and an energy that is available to all of us. And so when Dane created the Symphony of Possibilities class, because what people were very interested in, like what Dane was doing when he would work on people. They're like, can we learn that? Can you teach that to us? And so he thought he'd be able to teach everybody in like a 2-hour intro many, many years ago. And he realized that that wasn't the case. So then he created the Symphony of Possibilities, SOP. And that was after he went to like a symphony in New York City. And he watched how all the different instruments, how they all had their own frequency, their own vibration, but they created this greater whole. And he saw how, like, what he was doing with the ESB work, how that all these different energies that you're able to tap into and access, and how you're able to work with the quantum entanglements of the universe, right? To really just support people and having access to who they be, who they truly are, beyond their problems, beyond their pain and suffering, beyond any of the abuses that they may have had. And so it's a way for people to kind of access more of them through this amazing work. And so I came along and worked with Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here doing these sessions, and also doing sessions in the back of their classes. And so over the last 9 years of sort of developing this, I've been kind of nudging Dane, like, hey, you know, I really feel like I can be a bridge for people in maybe presenting the Symphony of Possibilities in a way that's obviously different than you, because we're different people, but in a way that people can they can maybe have a different doorway to access these energies, you know. And so he and Gary came up with this wonderful idea of something called the opening of the symphony, and that's exactly what it is. It's sort of like an introduction to these wonderful new spaces, but it really is, even for those people who've done the Symphony Possibilities, which is a 4-day class, even people who have attended these opening of the symphony classes that have done SOP classes already, they're like, wow, you have like this wonderful way of explaining it. Like, she's like, they would say, I always heard Dane say it this way, but for whatever reason, I'm hearing it when you're saying it. It's just because I just be a different energy with it. And sometimes it gets in there. You know how it goes. It's like the
I
people
mean,
that you're around the most, you don't like, it doesn't click. And then some random person comes along and says it, and all of a sudden you're like, I got it.
but I mean,
Yes.
it's for the people that have been through the classes, it's very same. Like if Gary says something and then Dane says
Yeah.
it in a like a very similar words as Gary, and people are like, oh, "That's awesome!" And Gary's like, I was saying it
Yeah,
before."
exactly.
They why? But
Exactly.
I mean, that's something incredible about you. And I mean, it's not easy to put symphony of possibilities into words because
Right.
we play with the energy. So
Yeah.
I would say you and Dane, you have an amazing skill. It's a skill because it's not easy to put the energy into words for people to get it more. It's not
Yeah.
like you're describing for them what they're doing, but you kind of, with the words, you kind of using the words to help them to get into the space of possibilities and what they know about energies and like what they know about themselves and what they can be. And the words that you're using beautifully leading into this. So no one is like, that's my own experience. I'm kind of
Yeah.
speaking
Thank
for
you.
myself at the moment, but I'm not in a wrongness, or like when I'm in your classes or Dane's classes, there's not of a like a big wrongness of that I'm doing something weird that I've never been doing before, or I'm like being a crazy idiot that's just trying to like do something. No, you leading into that space and the words supporting that I'm kind of create, and I'm aware of creating something different, and
Yeah.
that's amazing. And I would even say like Dane sometimes can be a little bit advanced for people, like a
Yeah.
little bit forward, and
Yeah.
then they're going into the wrongness. But you're incredible in that, like step by step, leading even the baby SOP
Yeah.
people that are like playing with it for the first time into that beautiful space. And then it's much bigger fun for them to even play with the SOP energies in Dane's classes because they never went into that wrongness at the
Yeah.
first place. So that's incredible.
Exactly. Well, you know, it's, you know, Dane's been doing this for so long, and for many, 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 many years. And you know, it's like, I think of it as like energetic foreplay
Yeah.
with these classes. And so hopefully the whole idea is that by the time they get to the Symphony of Possibilities class, really we're talking about the new people coming in that never had it before, but by the time they get to Dane's classes, they're sort of like prepared to really receive what he is,
Yeah.
and be's on an energetic level. And
I
and
mean,
and and again, even the people who've been around for a while, you know,
yeah,
it's like, as you know, when you go to the same class and you have different facilitators facilitate it, you receive the information differently, because each facilitator has their own unique energies and their unique capacities, and that what that creates for someone who's participating in the classes, it makes different energies available to them that they can now access for their own sessions.
And we're also willing to receive from one person a different way than from the other person. So
Right.
it's also about receiving, and your receiving can open much more and be
Yeah.
much bigger and greater, because you might not be willing to receive something from Dane, but you will be willing to receive it from Anthony, and vice versa. And that can
Right.
expand your receiving and widen your universe. And that's awesome.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, a lot of times it's really cute because I've done like sessions on people, and people that Dane has worked on before in the past, and it was like so easy for me to work with these people. And then I would go up to him and I'm like, whatever you did with that person, thank you so much, because they were like super easy. And he's like, you're welcome, because he actually had to do all the hard work. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, that's sort of hopefully what I'm trying to create, is
And
where like he
now
could
the
go to those
roles.
spaces energetically, because there's certain places he can't get to right now because people aren't ready,
Yeah.
right? They're just not ready. And that's why it's become like a prerequisite, so that if they can start playing in these opening of the symphony classes, that they're more ready, if you will, to receive the gift that Dane is, but also like the universes that he's trying to invite everybody to.
And also the gift they are being, and they are themselves.
Yep.
So the the roles changed, and now you're doing the hard work for Dane, so he has it easier.
Well, he's done all the hard work. When you're a pioneer in this work and you're laying it out there, and you're sort of like the Lone Ranger for all these years.
Yeah.
So I don't even for 1 second, this is fun for me, the whole thing. And I feel really, really, really like beyond blessed and grateful to have this opportunity to just share this amazing work that he created. And it really just is an invitation for people to have more who they are,
And
and
I
to see
mean,
our contribution. Sorry. Yeah.
I mean, I just jumped into that, but we're so grateful for you that you're willing to be this and do this and create this and kind of continue and widen what Dane created at the beginning. Because without you, now with you, it's like even bigger and greater and more amazing and accessible for some people that it wasn't before, maybe. And that's awesome, because not everybody has balls to go into this and to be this, and to be this big, and to be this energy. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Anthony, for
You're
you.
welcome. Did you hear that, you guys?
Yeah,
Did you hear that? We're doing good. Okay, sorry.
you did. Oh, you were talking to.
I was
Well,
talking to my balls.
oh, fuck me. Like, who are you talking to? Um, I had one fun question. Well, I mean, it's kind of like a general question, maybe for many people, but they've seen maybe some videos or some kind of introduction into symphony or the world of symphony, and they're like, they see people using their hands and waving with their hands.
Yeah.
But the question was, when I'm being a lawyer, or I'm like a big CEO of a big company, how would I be using SOP for myself in like a normal life? Because they cannot go and wave hands on their
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting question for me. I'm like, okay, Anthony, how would they use SOP energy
I
in?
I love the question. And so, we call it like a tool, but it's really not a tool. It's sort of like a way of being, And the first person who worked on me, it was Dane, but my partner, at my very first live SOP class, he actually had no use of his arms or his legs. The only thing that could move in his body was his head, maybe a little bit of his torso. And so this is a being activity. It's the being that is the difference here. It's not this wiggling your fingers in the air. Yeah, the body will go for the ride, but a lot of times, especially in the introduction classes, I would just have people stand by the table and just be. And so, and I know a lot, when I first heard this before, like, it's your being, it's your being. I'm like, what does that mean? Because I'm nice, or because I'm this, or because I'm that? I was looking for this like reason, or this justification, or the meaning or definition of like, what do you mean by being? And it's taken me years and years and years and years to like really start to get that. And I'm just beginning to get that. But it's just more of an energy of like who we are. It's just our very essence, right? And which is always growing. Hopefully it's always growing, learning, becoming more conscious while we're on this amazing journey. Hopefully, but not everybody's necessarily choosing that. I'm not always choosing it either,
Me neither.
especially when I go to conclusion about lots of things, but that's another story for another day. But it's our being. So again, like it becomes part of you everywhere you go. Like when I work in my yard, when I go to the supermarket, it's like different foods are communicating. It's like I can almost hear the whispers, like the different clothes that I wear. I'm wearing a t-shirt today, sorry guys. But like the clothes that I wear, like everything, you just start to be it. So when you walk into your law firm, you just start to be the energy of SOP, especially when you've been practicing with these energies. So you don't have to like do anything like, oh, I need to do this, or but you could sort of just be with the business, be that space of vulnerability, and just be in the question with everything that you do, so that you can actually access really all energies. And then and when you have the all energies available, there's nothing that you cannot be aware of and nothing that you cannot access. And so it's really like being in the questions about be the SOP energies when you go to work. Don't do the SOP energies.
That's beautifully said. And I mean, whole access is not about doing, but it's about being.
Yeah.
Everything where you guys kind of gift us the awarenesses, but also you made me to realize how present I am when I'm being in a class of even an opening class or an SOP class. I am so present, and that's the being part. The
Right.
other
Yeah.
things and the play and the body movement and the kind of a dance that some people call it, that's just an addition of the playfulness of the body, but it's basically just about the being. And if I'm
Yeah.
not willing to be, or if I'm kind of like spacing out or something, then I'm not creating what would I like to create, maybe, or what would be the contribution for the other person. And that is something that is very useful wherever you go and wherever you are, even if you like having the most important business going on. If you're not present with it, then something can slip out, or
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Truly, truly. And like, I know you love horses and you're a great rider and you love to be and play with the horses. And it's like, that's another area like in your life where I now get to see how you are with horses. And there's a beingness that is occurring between you and the horse. And it's really lovely to see. So it's like, and as you play with these tools of access consciousness and the SOP energies, you can have more of that sort of creationship with the animals and the earth and the trees and the plants, and just everything becomes more magical. It's really beautiful. And I know that sounds like really hokey. It's like I'm trying to think. Sometimes I think about what I say, and like if just the regular Joe, as we call it in America, was like listening to be like, you guys are a bunch of weirdos. And I'm like, well,
But we
not
are.
really, because it's like a lot of people do drugs so that they could actually have some of these awarenesses that we get to and access.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say it's not necessary. Like you can access the unknown realms. You can access communion and consciousness without having to take things outside of you, where by simply being it and playing with these energies. It's really fucking awesome and a gift for all of us.
That is very awesome, and I would say less harmful to your bodies and to your
Totally, that
maybe
too.
a little bit, I don't know.
Definitely less harmful, right? Exactly.
You can still choose, but I don't know. I've like, if you've ever had a drug and then the post, like until the drug
Exactly.
stops functioning, like, were you feeling great? But
Totally.
you don't have that residue thing after
Yeah,
therapy sessions.
exactly. Exactly. That's
you
great.
you can be high as a kite, but you don't have the load anymore, like
Exactly.
after.
Exactly. Exactly. So
So
my kids are funny because like, my daughter, like when I walk into the supermarket, I'll, all of a sudden like my fingers start moving. She's like, Daddy, you're embarrassing. Start wiggling your hands. And I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just like now as I start to become like aware of like the intensity of energies that are around, like my body and my being is like I'm sort of working and trying to move and dissipate and release the different energies, so I'm not at the effect of it. So it's really cool. It's not even a conscious thing. It's just something that I be now.
And I mean, more and more, I am playing with the energy of SOP. Then, as you said, when I'm being outside in the nature and I perceive like a odd energy, it doesn't have to be like that I'm afraid or something, but it's just odd. It's weird.
Yeah.
Then sometimes my hand just naturally moves. It's almost like I'm tapping into the information. Like I'm almost like
Yeah.
tapping into the space for the information that I
Yeah.
require at that moment to know what's going on, where is it going on, if it requires more of my attention, and that is applicable everywhere.
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
Yeah. So well, and well, as some of you might know, some of you might not know that, but opening of the symphony will be since next year. I mean, beginning of next year, it will start to be one of the prerequisites for the SOP class itself. So for you who are kind of like tapping into the energy of this class and pondering if it's like something for you or something not for you, maybe you want to be aware of this because this will be one of the steps to get to the SOP class if it's something that is very interesting for you and you're thinking about it. So you can maybe join the classes that are happening this year or till the end of this year already and be ready for the SOP classes in the future. But I mean, also, if you're not even thinking about the SOP class, this still can be a magical, beautiful step into these energies for you. So it's
Yeah.
not like you have to go to, because I mean, I did it also. I'm guilty as well. But, sometimes you go to a class because it's a prerequisite and you have to get
Yeah.
somewhere. But I mean, this class has so much magic itself that what if what if that would not be the must or like
Right.
must go, must do? What if it's about the playfulness of this class, and what if it's about Anthony as well as a facilitator, because what he can open in your world and universe and what gift he is and
Yeah.
can be to you.
And yeah, exactly. The contribution it could be to your sessions, to your life, to your money flows, to your relationships, like to, whatever. So always ask the question, if I choose this class, what will my life be like in 5 years?
Exactly.
Great
And I
question.
mean, Anthony, maybe a good question. Does this class has any prereqs or anyone can join?
You need to have had ESB to do this class. So yes, and then yeah, and if you plan on taking the SOP class with Dane in 2024, they'll actually count this one as the fulfillment to for that in 2024. So how does it
Good
get
to
better?
know. How
Yeah,
does it get any better than that?
awesome, truly.
Awesome. Do you
Thank
have
you.
anything else that you would love to say about?
No, other than just a magical gift. I mean, it has been for me, just as like someone who participated, and I had no intention of being on this journey. Like I had no idea. I was just taking these classes because it's what you needed to do to become a certified facilitator of access consciousness, and then this all showed up. But the tools have been a great gift to me in my life, and the SOP universe is just sort of like another set of energetic resources to help you to sort of move beyond anything that you haven't been willing to change in your life that you've been wanting to change for however long. So
Beautiful. And
yeah.
that's a huge invitation because a lot of times we become aware of something about us, let's say, but it's hard to sometimes get to the layer where it's
Mm,
stuck because it's on the energetic level. So,
right.
like all the
Bingo.
other therapists can tell you who you are, how you behave in the world, but it's really hard to get to that like little glimpse or to the space where you locked it, left it, or made
Yeah.
it solid. And
Yeah.
that's something that symphony and opening of a symphony can open for you because you can get there,
Beautiful.
that layer where it's stuck, and then you can change it.
Beautifully. Well said. That's why I loved it so much. I went to therapy. I did psychotherapy. I was probably like their favorite patient because like I divulged all the things that were buried in my subconscious and all that. And it helped to a
Yeah,
point,
it does.
but it didn't exponentialize my life. It didn't really give me the awarenesses that I needed to actually go beyond all those places I was stuck. And so that was very well said and very accurate. And yeah, by the time I got to Access, I'm like, man, wherever I'm messed up, it's way beyond that subconscious mind thing. It's got
Yeah.
to change on an energetic level. And I have no idea what tool or modalities out there to help me do it. And God knows I did a gazillion of them before I did Access. So thanks for that.
So let's go beyond the stories that we lived from, who we are and what is possible for us, because Symphony of Possibilities is way beyond any story and anything that we sold, bought, or told ourselves that we are, can be, and can do, and can create in the world.
True story.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks,
man.
Anthony.
All right. Thank you.
This was
All right.
awesome.
We'll
And
see
we
you
will
soon. See
see
you in
a lot
Prague.
of you in Prague. Maybe we'll
Yes.
see.
Okay. Ciao.